You're now listening to Chaos Culture Radio. I'll be your host, Hakeem Bello. You can catch us on themediabums.com. For you fools who don't listen, THEMEDIABUMS.com. I came to give you life, culture, and tell you how to grow your money tree. And everything else. Holla at me. What's poppin', folks?
What's goody, peoples?
Chaos Culture Radio.
Oh yeah, back to front, you know, bringing it to the forefront, bringing all the newest, latest topics, 2019 heat.
That's all it is. But I ain't gonna lie to you, today we not kicking with y'all, because the topic we about to talk about is serious.
Yeah.
I don't think many people touched on it or really go in depth about this, but I think this is more of a serious topic. We all need to front all our listeners who might come from different backgrounds.
Yeah, for sure.
And first, I just want to point out something that we live in a very negative world. There's negative stereotypes and negative items, logos that represent negative ideologies.
Yeah, for sure.
So we should not let that dictate or define who we are as people, especially with an idealism of America.
Yeah, for sure.
But America has his gluttons and his skeleton is in his closet, and I think we still have yet to overcome that. So I think that what we're about to talk about really tackles a serious issue that I think that we need to be addressed and need to have respect for people.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially one's culture.
Yes, for sure, definitely. I mean, so to get straight to it, today's topic is we're going to talk about Blackface Gucci and, you know, basically focusing on how these luxury brands are, you know, have been coming at us in a way, basically to put, you know.
And we don't know who's working in the design department. Because, you know what I mean, we don't know what agenda you have.
Right.
Or what motives you have going on. But it's not only Gucci, Burberry, all these people, you know what I mean? Like, people, don't let history repeat itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, you can't be that dumb to be that naive.
Right.
Let's not forget H&M.
Yeah.
Where they had the little boy wearing that t-shirt who was like a Monkey King.
Best monkey in the jungle or something.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where are we at right now with that?
Man, it's crazy because, you know, the funny thing about it is you have black entertainers have made these brands popular. Like, let's be real, you know, like on a mass level, you know, I never really knew about Gucci, and I grew up, you know, my parents were very modest. I grew up knowing about Tommy Hilfiger, learning about Polo, learning about just the basics, you know. But a lot of the influence kind of came from, you know, growing up in the hood, but then also through the music. So, but I feel like as time went on, and as hip hop got more glamorous, you start to hear them talk about these big brands like Versace. You hear them start to talk about Gucci. You're talking about brands that, you know, sneakers start at $500. T-shirts start at $500. Let's not even get into the gowns and to the high-end fashions and styles. It gets so I almost can't even relate. But I guess, yeah, like you're saying, what do you think is the motive when they start to create these items? From your standpoint, what do you think might even make somebody say, hey, we're going to make something that speaks negatively about another culture?
I don't think it's, you know what I mean, I think it's very disheartening. Because, you know what I mean, these brands are worth billions of dollars. They have marketing dollars. They have research assistants. They have everything at they helm to know what's going on. I think it's very messed up that you could put something out there without even consulting people. You know what I mean? It's not like they don't have people of color working up there.
Right.
I say somebody had to sign off on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But not only that, though, it's even more messed up when you have people of color even supporting that and saying that, oh, this ain't nothing, this is something that happened 30 years ago. People are still feeling the wounds of this particular situation. And folks, for y'all who don't know what blackface is, and if you don't know, you must be born in the 90s. You must be born in the 90s. But to give you more of a clarification, blackface was something that was used for racial stereotypes against black people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which you have a lot of white actors, and at that time, the theater was not integrated. You know what I mean? White actors dominated the theaters. You know what I mean? Not saying we didn't have our own movies, but they did, and they wanted to portray black people, so they put on makeup. And they act like a buffoon, a dumb-defiled coon. You feel what I'm trying to say? So it's just, let's not get it twisted. And I don't want none of you goofies saying that we do this on our own. We act like coons ourselves, but we learned it from somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to piggyback off what he's saying in terms of like the history of blackface, you know, racism was something that was taught to the world. You know, you have back in the day, 19th century, 18th century, when slavery was going on, and you have anthropologists back then. So an anthropologist is someone who studies cultures. So they would go and travel on their boats and go to Africa, go to these islands, and they would see people that look different from them. So in order to create modern day slavery at the time, they had to convince other Europeans that these people, these brown people, these people who look different from them are savage. The way they did that was through creating drawings to send them out. They would send them out, or they would document their experiences meeting these brown people, and then they would pretty much lie to other Europeans and tell them, hey, we should go ahead and steal these people, sell them because they're savages, they need to be civilized, they need to be trained. So once you have that stereotype as early, you know, beginnings before slavery, creating slavery, you have those same stereotype and tactics used to continue further put us down, to further validate why they say we're worth nothing, right? So the main thing is to get other people to believe it to the point where we also start to believe the stereotype. You're like, damn, we've been hearing for so long that we're worth nothing, this and that, that it becomes something that starts to get put into our, like, ingrained in our memories. You know what I'm saying? So going fast forward to the blackface, like he said, pretty much once something like theater started to arise in the early 1900s, you know, white people, they haven't, because now that culture's civilized, right? So now they're going to plays. You know, slavery is over by this point, but black people still don't have the same rights. They go into plays. They're saying, damn, you know what? They're trying to make art that reflects their life as white Europeans.
Yeah.
So they say, okay, we already know this other culture is not worth nothing. Let's make fun of them, and let's, in our theater shows, make fun of them by painting our face black, because we don't value them. We don't see them as human. You know what I mean? We see them as, 3/5 human.
Yeah,
so it's a continuing joke. The blackface is a continuing joke. It's been a continuing joke to make fun of us.
No, 100%. And I think that, you know, I mean, plain and simple, it's a minstrel show. There's no way of getting around that. And I don't think, and if you're a person, you think this stuff is funny and cool, and you think this is something that, it's nothing, you know what I mean? Like, this is not something you play with people about. You know what I mean? We don't, you know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? A lot of other people don't do this for other cultures. Other cultures back down. I think particularly black folks within itself, due to the fact that our structures are not as tight as where we can combat people who's doing these type of things. So people are just freely to come out with doing everything, paint some pictures, doing that. It's the same way where you have people who wear shirts that says niggas on it. I don't wear stuff like that.
Right.
You know, I never wore Gucci, never wore Burberry of any of these fashion design, because first off, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and cap for any of y'all.
Right.
Secondly, I'm not going to wear something that doesn't represent me.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's just the main thing about that. Like, it's crazy to see in the 21st century that we're still dealing with old skeletons that happened before we was even here. Like, wake up, people. The world is changing. We're intermingling. We're mixing. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, the United States going to look like Brazil in the next 20 years. It's going to be so mixed here, you ain't going to tell who's who.
That's true. That's very true. And I think the main thing why it became so offensive for people, it struck a nerve. We're in a generation, too, where we are very sensitive. We are very, and we don't know why, right? We don't know why. It's this whole triggering culture when you get triggered, you know. And the thing is about how sometimes the media is, and even certain artists, they do things to trigger emotions out of you, right? So it's like whatever I can do to stir something, to pull something out of you, to hype you up, to make you feel a certain way. So a brand like Gucci or a brand like Burberry, Burberry did the Noose, right? And it's like all these brands are European. So they have their inside joke, their inside aesthetic, their inside standard of what they think is high culture. They've always looked down on other cultures and said, hey, or even if they appreciated the culture, they'll probably appropriate it before they congratulate it.
100%.
You feel me? So like, I think it's fascinating because when you look at the history of blackface, at some point that you have black people who were also taking on blackface too.
Oh yeah,
to be a part of the theater because they wanted to be entertainers and they wanted to be in the, I don't want to say white world, but they wanted to transition into that other audience, to make money. You know what I'm saying? And what you see a lot today, what a lot of our favorite artists do today, metaphorically they do blackface. Yeah. They're like, hey, I want to come up out of the hood and I want to reach other people.
Just like the controversy with Drake. He's from Canada. Let's also just point that out. So they have a totally different culture there.
Yes.
And I don't understand. You know what I mean? He tried to explain himself, but it was brought out and there was a picture of something that was very questionable. He was in blackface.
Oh my God. The Pusha T disc. It
didn't look good. And people still hold that card in the back of their hand knowing that, it all depends on who do you subscribe to.
Niggas never loved us. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to say it like that, but it's like where he says that in that song, Worst Behavior. Like, they never loved you. They never loved us. You know what I'm saying? Or it's always been to a point where it was extreme. I like the point where he said that, in different cultures, blackface mean a different thing. Like in, if I'm not mistaken, I would like to say Russia.
No, the Netherlands.
Netherlands?
The Netherlands, in Europe, they still do it.
They still do blackface. So blackface was a character.
And the Britons
Santa Claus,
used to do that.
They had this thing called Santa Claus, which is where we derive our Santa Claus from. But Santa Claus had a little character with him that was like a black character, right? So, but over the years, what you find out because of the controversy, because it was so natural part of the culture, every Christmas there's the black character with the Santa Claus. So what they ended up doing is flipping it and saying, because there was a whole controversy where people were like, we have to ban this because it's insulting. Yeah. It was so ingrained in their culture that every Christmas or every holiday, you will have white people dressing up or European people dressing up, painting their face black, and they didn't even see why that was a bad thing. You have even black people that themselves, they had internalized it, and they would even say, oh, I'm lucky because I already look like Pete. The character was called Black Pete or something like that. So what ended up happening is they had to evolve the character and say, like, okay, it's going to be a white man that has dust on his face that looked like he dropped through the chimney. But they couldn't understand why that was offensive to an American. Why in America it holds so much weight, right? So again, like you said, because of America, the American history that we have here and the struggle that black people have had, the ADOS people have had here.
And for people who don't know, shameless dropout. Shout out to what's that lady name? From Breaking Brown. What's her name?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yvette Cornell.
Okay.
Shout out to Yvette Cornell. She coined the term. I think ADOS? It was Yvette and her other homeboy, ADOS, American Descendant of Slave. Yeah.
Yeah. So because in America we have a certain history, and when certain things come up, it does trigger us a certain way. It's just like, in today's culture, we ain't standing for it. You know what I'm saying? No. When we see Gucci come out with that red, we already certain people, because people are triggered, we already know what type of time we're on. You understand? And now I love where we're at because now we have different platforms where people immediately call these
people out, burning out, Gucci,
and they cancel them.
Yeah, and stop wearing them for show. And this is for anybody out there who. Ladies, I know you might like Gucci bags. I know you might like Gucci this, Gucci that. Buy something from somebody who you know not gonna try you.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, a lot of these fashion brands that we worship and glorify since youth. I used to wear, like, I give you an example. I used to rock Tommy.
Yeah.
Back in the days, boy. For a lot of y'all who know how that Tommy Bombay look with the Tommy jacket and the Tommy duffel with the different colors, the red, the blue. Until Tommy said that he didn't intend to make the clothes for us, that crushed me. But it just let me know what world we living in today.
Yeah, but then he had to come back and try and clean it up, because what they forget is that, you know, our culture as black people in America, we've always made hip hop is one of the most popular cultures across the world.
Yeah.
So everybody follow what we do. You understand?
Oh yeah,
and
perfect.
There's certain niggas that I say back in the 80s, you know, with Dapper Dan and stuff like that. Dapper Dan made Gucci fly. Like, for
100%.
like niggas wanted to wear Gucci back then because they knew they could customize the dope dealers. They could afford that, and they wanted to have that type of look. You know, even when you have Biggie with Versace. Luckily, I never heard anything negative about Versace. But you know, but the Versace house is based in Miami.
Yeah.
I never heard anything negative about Versace.
Oh yeah, you know You never heard it, but still, it's a luxury brand.
Yeah.
It still doesn't represent us.
Yeah, and it's not for us or by us.
You know what I mean? So it's like, hey.
Plug to Fubu. Shout out to Fubu.
Shout out to Fubu. Hey, and I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that to myself. About Fubu, I'm gonna keep it. So Damon John, he's a sucker.
Yeah.
He's a sucker.
But it's nothing like having something that represents you. You want to wear clothing that make you feel good. You know 100%. What I'm saying? That represents you. And I actually was watching something the other day. They were saying like, because you know how they're doing these. I know we about to, you know, we run out of time. But you know how they're starting to do these reboot concerts where they're bringing back acts from the 90s. Jokingly, they were like, what if one of your favorite brands from the 90s? Because a lot of these concerts, you want to go dress in the 90s clothing that used to be popping back then, like the Karl Kani, the Baby Fat. Yeah. If those brands were to come out today, the question is, would you support them?
Karl Kani and Cross Colors. 100%.
Would you support them the same way you would support these big brands?
Oh, I never supported those big brands. Personally, me. I never bought Gucci before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had a Karl Kani jacket. I had a cross-color sweater and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The only brand I think I would probably support that I think is not made by black people is Gucci.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, I'm not gonna lie, you know, growing up being a kid on hip hop, who grew up on hip hop, I have fallen in love with the fantasy of having nice clothes. You know, when you hear Biggie talking about certain things, or you know, you hear the Migos in today's time. You know, like it's always been just being a kid growing up in hip hop. I've always been attracted to wanting to obtain those things. Mm-hmm. You know, just in the fantasy of luxury and living the lifestyle. But in reality, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never bought into any of those things. And I would love to see a black-owned brand come. I would like to be that. To be honest, I would like to be that brand. Because I studied fashion, you know, in high school. And, you know, we do our own clothing design. We do T-shirts and all that stuff.
Yeah, you'll see the link in the T-shirt. Support us.
But, you know, I would love to be that new school Baby Fat, that new school Karl Kani, that new school Fubu, that new school Fat Farm, that new school, what was the 50 Cent, his clothing line, G-Unit. I would love to be the new school Rockaware. I would love to be the next branch of that and bring something that people embrace and love, the new school Mesquite. I would love to be that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's the next step. This is the time for people to evolve and start to rock the brands that not only represent them, but made by people who love the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, clothing feels differently when you know who's making it for you and why they're making it for you.
Oh yeah, just the same way why people wear dashikis.
It feels differently.
It definitely feels different. People perceive you differently.
Exactly. It's a whole different vibe.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing where I see somebody with a Gucci belt on or a Hermes. I was like, you fucking Herb.
And I get it, because those things are what do you call them? Status symbols.
They are.
Right?
It's supposed to symbol wealth in the ghetto.
Yeah.
But that's not wealth. It's just ignorance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna put this a long rant on this, and this is for a lot of you folks that know. Rich people do not wear 90% of the stuff black people spend money on.
Right.
I'm gonna repeat that again. Gucci sweaters, Gucci bags. 90% of rich white women who lives in affluent suburb neighborhoods, you see I'm getting my big words on, do not have that stuff on.
Or if they do, it's so subtle that you wouldn't even know what it is.
You would not even know that. You do not know what wealth looks like. If you see a white boy in a pickup truck, yes, he has money. But if you see somebody in a Phantom
or a Lambo or something,
nah.
It might be a rental.
You know what I mean? Now, yes, you have the mega wealthy who might have these things, but average people who walk amongst us that sits on money bags, duffels, checks, do not wear none of these major fashion brands. You won't even tell if a person have on a, you know what I mean, a Gucci, a Gucci underwear. You know what I mean? I've known white boys with cash who stop at Walmart and be mad when the particular shirt is not there.
Oh my God. It's crazy because when you look at Kanye to talk about how our entertainers have perpetuated an idea of what we should be, he was a person who promoted luxury to us.
Oh yeah, to 100.
But now when you look at his clothes, everything got holes in it.
Yeah.
Everything looks teared up. So I don't know where we're going with
You don't even see his name on it.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going with this.
You know what I mean? He used to be the Louis Vuitton Don. Exactly. Now he's the Holy Don.
So I'm totally confused by where he's going with that. But maybe he's on to something. You know, we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to even really touch on, too much on that.
No, we're not. But fashion brands, stop being a effing goofy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, if it wasn't for us, your brands would not be vibing to the point where it's at. And that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, man. Know that your money has power. Your dollar has power. And put it in the right hands. All right, we out.
Out of it. Man, I just appreciate y'all just listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.